where are we at here? All right, we're live. We are live on the internet, people. This is a big deal. Hey, nice to see you. Uh, it's me, your main man, the Kung Fu Panda of physics, the Tony Stark of the trailer park, the Count of Monte Fisto, the one who knows the UFOs are to the MFNL right here. A little bit late start tonight. I figured, why not? It's not school night, right? So we're adults. We can stay up a little later and play. Now, I do have some things that I would like to get to. Nobody's here yet, so I figured this would be a good time to kind of wrap up some loose business, talk about some news, and give you some valuable information aside from my incessant ramblings, rants, and tirades, as I like to do it. Um, so, the first thing, I wrote something that I would like to read, and this is not to most of my audience. This is for the skeptic, the cynic, the people who don't want to debate, they don't want to defend their position. Okay, and I think it's important that in science, um, that we defend our position. That's what science is for. Um, and so I thought I would write a little thing called "Why You Should Debate Me" by R.L. Poole, um, and it goes like this: If you are convicted of your beliefs, you should be equally convicted to defend them. Those who do not defend their beliefs uh, do not really have any. And the skeptics, the UFO deniers, the people who deny abductions, you created me. Just so you know, your denial of the existence of ETs and UFOs have made me necessary to restore the balance of truth, a scale of which science has had its thumb on for years. And like Frankenstein's monster, you created me. So turn and face what you have made. Your jeers, your insults, your boos, they don't mean anything to me. I've seen what you people cheer for. Science uh, wishes to be an absentee landlord on this topic. They wish to avoid researching so they may enjoy the privilege of plausible deniability through willful ignorance. Not a single non believing scientist I have ever challenged has arrived at that position by actually studying the subject. It is by not studying the subject that one may feel entitled to deny its existence. Hmm? This is not even a matter of facts or evidence anymore. Scientists who deny the existence of aliens are just as bad as people who claim the earth is flat. And I do mean that. That's not being mean. In both cases, they are simply and purposely not looking at the evidence. I challenge you to look at the evidence with me and then give your decision, not your opinion. If you cannot do that in an honest way, then as a scientist, you are unworthy of your credentials, of your status, and of your following. I mean, um, what would you say about me if you, any of you, challenged me to a debate and I backed down after making such bold assertions of my own, like they have? What would you think about me if I did that? Well, that's how we think about you when you run and hide and duck and pretend to ignore the very loud and clear message I have sent you many, many times. And I'm not the only one. How is it that I'm the one who's supposedly unscientific, abrasive, uninformed, etc.? But it is science who avoids me, insults me, and argues from a position of total ignorance and denial. Something seems backwards. I have the balls to take on the most well known names in science because it isn't about the name, it's about the science. No matter who they are, they will all bow to this logic, this evidence, and these facts. That is why I am fearless. I do not debate that which I am not already guaranteed to win. And uh, I am approaching this from the one angle that they really cannot compete with. You see, everyone else argues from the ground up, the stupid way. The Drake equation, oh, the mathematical possibility of life in the universe, and blah, blah, blah. That is weak as fuck. I have met these beings. So I know for a fact science is wrong. Science got this wrong. So once I met these beings and I um, realized that science is way, way off, I started backtracking from the point of contact to see how they had missed the boat. And I have, and I say this with all due humility, I have forensically destroyed science on this topic. They have been hiding behind excuses that are made to sound like science, but really what it is, it's emotional denial, which leads to intellectual rejection. And so science is their crutch, and so that's what they use in order to um, try to keep the public as fear filled and ignorant as they are. Misery and cowardice both seem to like company. Hold on a second. So that's the first topic, and I just wanted to put that out there. Um, who's out here? Garrett. Hey, there you go, man. Hey, you're up past your bedtime, sir. uh, Drop me a like, or I'm going to tell your grandparents. um, Glad to see you, sir. By the way, got your email. Thank you very much. Um, I will give it my due attention when I can, and I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like you have some thoughts, and I always enjoy um, knowing what's on your mind. Um, we have some news in the UFO realm. Um, However, my cats unplugged my computer, so we're gonna have to do it on the fly. So, a retired Wright Pat Air Force general who was, uh, I guess, going to be instrumental in the new UFO disclosure, which was ordered by the president, uh, has gone missing. No one knows where he is. And he's been missing, I think, for over a week, which is not good. He's a 68-year-old guy. He's supposed to be in good shape, exercises, uh, mentally acute, uh, and he just disappears. No one knows where this guy is. And, people say, well, I don't want to jump to conclusions. No, I'm going to jump to conclusions. Why is it whenever we get really close to an answer, some weird anomalous thing, uh, happens right at the last minute? Uh, that seems to be the monkey in the wrench, the turd in the punch bowl, so to speak, that spoils the whole party. It's like how Trump said, well, we're going to release the UFO files. And then they put Arrow in charge of it. Why don't you put a fox in charge of the hen house, or maybe a kleptomaniac in charge of Fort Knox? Could you put a worse organization in charge of this disclosure? Um, and uh, you know, I just I'm just constantly not surprised by how at every single turn we are blocked, we are frustrated, we are denied. Um, what organization would you have picked? Well, I think that they pick it because it's specialized. Arrow, the anomalous, um, whatever, anomalous aircraft resolution officer, whatever it is. Um, I think that the FBI probably has a lot of files. And so that's where they would be getting them from. So I would say, who's holding the records? Those are the people who should be in charge of releasing them. Funneling through them through an office only has one purpose, and that is censorship and redaction. I certainly have come up with a new formula for political science, like Newton. Every action has an equal and opposite redaction. You heard it here first. They just need a small distraction from the Epstein files for now. You know, a lot of people say that. You know, I kind of take the opposite tact. I really don't think that the Epstein files are a bigger story than aliens. I'm sorry. I don't think that. In fact, as an abductee and one that's a multiple abduction survivor over a period of decades, who is very clued in on this topic, I'd like to share a revelation that I've had, and that is everything that is not this subject is a distraction away from this subject. I think it's the opposite. I think that the Epstein files are a distraction away from the UFO files. I mean, we're the originals. We were the ones who were abducted, assaulted, traumatized, returned, and then no one believes us, and no one does anything about it, and we're pushed to the edge of society, and we are cast out. Uh, you know, um, and we're the ones who've been doing this for years and years. Interesting take. Well, I mean, if look at abductees. Abductees are just like the victims, the Epstein victims. You notice that everybody likes to read the files, but no one wants to talk to the victims. You notice that even in the UFO community, abductees are the least respected, the least listened to, and the most gaslighted part of that community. You know, I'm watching this video today, and it has Russ Coldhart. You know, the guy who talks like this, the reporter. He's always doing UFO stuff, and he's on this podcast telling the stories of people who are firsthand eyewitness abductees. And I'm like, why is Russ Coldhart on there? Why don't you have actual abductees? Why don't you get it right from the horse's mouth instead of some secondhand, third hand, fourth hand generation of info? I think it's really ridiculous. It's because when you put a face to the phenomenon, it becomes very real. It becomes very prescient, doesn't it? When you have to look somebody like me in the eye and hear my story, it's jarring to the soul, right? And it's what nobody wants. And I get that. You know, people are like, "Oh, your videos don't break 200 views." Yeah, because I'm not a very smooth guy, and I have an unpopular message. I'm not doing this to be popular. I could figure out many other ways. Um, Believe me, people are so gullible. It would be very easy to be a manipulative, successful, and popular person, but I take the hard road. I'm not fantastic at this, but I have an important message and one that you need to hear, and it's an unpopular message. I'm the guy walking around giving out inoculation. You know, like nobody wants the sting of the needle, but everybody needs the medicine. Hmm? And that's where I stand with it. Um, is there any Hollywood film? Sorry, I don't have my actual glasses on because I have a headache. Is there any Hollywood film you feel is accurate to your experience? Um, there is. What is the name of that movie? I've seen it a few times. The Fourth Kind. The Fourth Kind is, I think, a movie where they gave a very serious treatment to the subject, and they included some real information. People often um, uh, describe like remembering seeing an owl's face, and I think what they see is a large white head with black eyes. I think that's what they focus on, and that's what their memory tells them, or their screen memory. There is such a thing. Um, and they talk about waking up at 3:33 a.m., which happened to me over and over and over and over, night after night after night after night, sometimes for weeks. Um, and it got to be such a thing that I literally, when I woke up, I would know what time it is. It must be 3:33. I'd look at the clock, and yep, it sure is, because I would have that feeling, that abduction feeling, um, and that that abduction feeling, I call it the abduction hangover. You feel hot, sweaty, gross. You feel like you've been touched. You're thirsty. All I want to do is wash my hands and my face and drink water and just get the ick off of me, you know. And but even the times when I didn't directly perceive evidence of abduction, my body does. My memory does, even if they mess with your memory, and it seems like they do for the most part, unless they specifically want you to remember something. They try to, and I don't know how they do it, um, but I can tell you. Let's see, where's it? Speaking of which, have you seen the McPherson abduction tape? It was my introduction to the phenomena, despite being a work of fiction. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. I tend to not be very interested in other people's abductions because I'm like, I know it happens. It happened to me. It happens to other people. I find it, I think, triggering. So I tend to avoid it unless it's for a technical purpose, for research purposes, or um, things like that. I tend to stay away from it because it's just triggering. I've already lived through it. I don't need to live through somebody else's too. Um, and I'm not saying that like to be a dick or anything. I'm trying to protect myself, protect my psyche, uh, and let the healing begin, as they say. And I've been doing pretty well with that, actually. Um, so other news uh, that we have is they've released uh, a map uh, of where most UFO sightings occur in the U.S. And the map is interesting. Um, let's take a look. It looks as though uh, it's the five corners. We have California, Florida, Texas, looks like Washington State, and then I think that's Delaware over on the other side. So it's like it's literally at the corners of the country. And one of the things that I noticed is that it also had to do, uh, I think, with which countries have the most coastline. All of these countries are coastal, or all of the countries, all of these states are coastal states, not interior. I find that interesting. I think the connection is that many of these UFOs are also USOs, and they hide or stay underwater for the most part and come out. And when they come out, well, they come out where the land begins, and that is the coastal states. And the ones with the most shoreline will see the most amount of them. It kind of makes sense. Um, Now, other people have done things like a grid where they do it by like latitude. And the 33rd parallel uh, seems to be quite busy. If you look at a map, a saturation map of sightings and reported sightings, you see it's almost like in lines, you know. And this could be theoretically because they are following the magnetic pattern of the Earth or riding like the magnetic waves of the Earth in some way. Uh, or they have specific particular destinations that they ritualistically or habitually visit. Um, I feel like there's a base in a mountain above a city nearby me. It's quite possible. See, the thing is that uh, this came out. Phil Schneider came out and spilled the beans on this, and he was in charge. He was, I believe, a geologist and an engineer. I think he was both. Super super bright guy, and he was in charge of building and drilling uh, these things called DUMBs, DUMBs, deep underground military bases, like what's it, Dulce, New Mexico. And he was an extremely not flashy person. Like he wasn't. He's like me, not like very charismatic, but in his own way, his honesty was his charisma, and he got very injured because the United States government sent him somewhere where to drill, where there were already beings housed, and uh, they were pretty sure that the government knew that and sent them anyway, kind of like uh, evicting the tenants without telling uh, the people what you're sending them there for. And and when that happened, there was an altercation. There was violence ensued, and some Green Berets were killed. Some of the aliens, they were the tall grays, I guess, from his description. And he was extremely badly wounded by one of the creatures who he said did not have a weapon, but kind of just waved his hand, like did this in front of his body, and this bolt of electricity shot out and took off like two or three of his fingers, flayed him open like a fish, cost him a couple of ribs, and he ended up having physical problems from these things for the rest of his life. And the United States government denied this happened. They denied him benefits. They denied him compensation. And I think, righteously angry, went around and decided, then let's just make sure everybody knows about this thing. And he was going around giving lectures. He was really starting to build a following. And one day they found him unsubscribed from life. Not too soon after that. And this was a person who was tougher than boot leather. This was not a quitter. This was a guy who'd been through everything. Uh, and the way that he supposedly unsubscribed was not possible for a person with his disabilities. He had a ligature around his neck, and he would not be capable of tying such a thing because of the injuries that he had sustained. No note, no nothing. Uh, and it's just all very suspicious. So you see, that's what they do. They go around plugging leaks. Oh, this general, he's supposed to testify uh, before Congress, or he's going to be in charge of releasing some files. Boop, missing. Oh, it's Phil Schneider guy. Oh, he got hurt. And we won't admit it. So he's going around running his mouth and he's telling too much. Boop, off the board you go. You know, uh, wasn't too long ago, like a week or two, I saw George Knapp. Uh, he's on a podcast talking about, well, Bob Lazar, they did ask him to testify, but, I told him not to. What? What do you mean you told him not to? You guys are the gatekeepers, the civilian gatekeepers. You decide who testifies and who doesn't, right? You're in charge. Hey guys, when you come in, hey, drop me a like. please. I like likes. In fact, I love likes. Okay. They're really helping me right now. I'm picking up a little bit of steam, and every little bit of momentum really helps. So thank you for that. Um, but every time we have this opportunity, every time that we have this opportunity to get some truth out, wouldn't you know it, just something, some snafu happens. You know, people just coincidentally come up missing or unsubscribe from life or are told by people who are supposed to be rooting for disclosure, shh, don't say anything. And one of his excuses I found to be very angering for me, very frustrating. He said, well, Bob Lazar's been through enough. He doesn't owe the UFO community anything. Let me explain something to you, George Knapp and all the rest of these guys. Let me explain something to you. He doesn't owe the UFO community. He owes the human race. Do you understand? The same reason that I'm doing this. Do you think this is easy? It's not. Do you think it's fun? Not particularly. Is it profitable? Hell no. I do this because it's necessary. And if someone asked me to testify about my abductions under oath to Congress, I would absolutely accept it. If they wanted me to take a polygraph, I would do that too. Whatever it took to get this information forward, not because I owe the UFO community, it's because I owe you. You, human, I owe you. And everyone who has the truth owes it to the people around them. Bob Lazar has gone around and enjoyed his celebrity, enjoyed his fame, sold his merch, made his money, been on Netflix, the center of attention, this and that, right? Telling his stories. But when it comes to like actually doing something that's on the record that matters, that's going to move the needle, so to speak, no thanks. That tells you a lot about these people. It is not. It's just like the scientists, like Professor Dave and these guys. He's like, why should I bother with you? Your videos can't even break 200 views. I'm sorry, I didn't know it was about clicks. I didn't know it was click science. Now, I thought this was about the value of the argument. I thought this was about the controversy, not about the clicks. That's me, though. What do I know about the world? I mean, when people say 50 Shades of Gray, I think they're talking about my beard. I'm just out of touch, I guess, because last time I checked, I did not know that science was a democracy. I didn't know that. I'm glad to learn new things, of course. But yeah, no, science is not a democracy. Science is not based on popularity. It's not based on clicks. It's based on logic. It's based on facts. It's based on evidence. And I have all of those things on my side. I have all of those things on my side. And the only thing they have on their side is the size of their community, their base, their subscriber count, because that's how we measure now, right? People say, well, you don't get that many views because your videos aren't good. Oh, well, I have a hard time arguing with you there. I don't really make great videos. But I'm not worried about the video. I'm trying to get out the information, I'm trying to get out. It's good information. There's absolutely nothing wrong with the information I provide. You may not like the background or my stupid face or whatever it is. That's fine. But I'm not trying to be a brand. I'm not trying to be popular. I don't want to be a celebrity. I don't want to be rich. I just want people to start understanding and arming themselves with information that they can use. And this, there's like this hopeless thing that people have. They're like, well, even if we know about it, what can we do about it? You'd be surprised. It's not all about technology. These beings, these small grays, their technology is unfathomable. But that doesn't make them unbeatable. It doesn't make them unstoppable. And it certainly doesn't mean that we can't resist. I've proven for the last 2 years or so that resisting abductions is possible. Hi, guys. Thanks for coming in. Please drop me a like. Thank you. Appreciate that. I'm glad to see so many people here. It's very nice. Thank you. I hope you're enjoying this live and that you're relaxing and you're having a great Friday night. I'm trying to, and I'm enjoying the company. So thank you so much. But we have problems, and the problem, I keep thinking, uh, oh, it's about science. It's about the arguments. It's about the logic. It's really not. It's about people. It's about people, and people. Well, science is not a monolith. Okay, science is not a monolith, and science, last I checked, are comprised of people. Science is comprised of people. So if it has people involved, then it can be just as corrupt, just as wrong, and just as misled as any other human endeavor. And I think that there are a lot of reasons why scientists really balk at the idea of aliens existing. Because if they do, well, there goes your physics. Your physics says they can't come here, right? Leonard Susskind, remember? You said aliens aren't coming here because our physics says it's impossible. Well, somebody better go and tell these guys, the ones that's been taking me for the past 40 years or so. You better go and tell them that they can't do this because they're doing it. So it's not that they can't do it; it's that you don't know how. And I think one of the more positive approaches that we can have with this, and I invite science instead of being a combatant to be an ally and say, instead of asking, are they here? They're here, man. Let's talk about how. How are they here? How are they doing this? We've missed something in physics that we could probably really benefit from by acknowledging the mistake, the gap, the wrong direction, perhaps, that we're looking in physics. And instead of rejecting it, physicists are the only people I know, okay, who will say that breaks the laws of physics. And then instead of like going back and looking at the laws, they go, then that can't be real because it doesn't agree with my physics. Like that is very unscientific. Okay. Um, and when we have these dilemmas, they are rarely intellectual, is what I found. They're emotional, they're psychological resistance, and they just use science as a gimmick, as a device to use it to reject what we don't want to believe. And because people say, "Well, I need evidence. I need." Do you? Do you need evidence? Okay, well, that's fair. It is fair, but 95% of this country, the United States, 95% of this country are Christians. 90, like 7% of the world is religious. No evidence required for those beliefs. Beliefs people are willing to die for. No evidence required. Hmm? They will believe with no evidence, which is everyone's right. Okay? But just because you have the right to believe what you want doesn't mean it's a good policy. Right. I mean, let's just be honest. You shouldn't believe what you want. You should believe what's true, what's provable, what has evidence. And the same people who believe in God with no evidence presented whatsoever, demand the highest level of evidence for something as already proven as extraterrestrials. That confuses me as an AI autistic individual. That perplexes me because where's the consistency? It is not just inconsistent. It is hypocritical at a scale that I can scarcely comprehend. And I understand that I'm neurodivergent and I think differently than other people, but that doesn't mean my thinking is wrong. I proceed down the line of logic. And when people say there's no evidence, I say, define evidence. And what they're usually talking about is not that there's no evidence, it's that there's no proof, no smoking gun proof, conclusive proof. Fine. Okay. I agree. We don't have it. But if you're going to demand evidence, uh, my scientific chums, then you have to tell me. how to collect the evidence, um, what to do with the evidence, what you're going to do with the evidence once I give it to you. Do you have any idea what kind of evidence you want? Do you have any idea what you would do with the evidence if I gave it to you? And what conclusion is possible to be reached by these types of evidence that you're asking me for? They don't know enough to answer any of those questions, and tells me that science is full of shit when it comes to this topic. Yeah. Mm. I mean, you got these people who will go out of their way to debate flat earthers. you know, uh, by the way, little note about flat earthers. You notice there's no flat mooners. There's nobody out there trying to rename Saturn to Flattern, are they? Like, uh, we look out and we see the moon is round, the sun is round, all the planets are round, everything we see across the entire universe is round. Just we're flat. Just the one we're standing on. It just simply is just so ridiculous on its face. Um, and in fact, I made that argument in a comment section, and it was so popular that Neil deGrasse Tyson actually stole it. He stole my comment and repeated it almost verbatim 2 weeks later at some kind of science conference. So they have time. They have time to debate. In fact, it's a part of a scientist's job to debate the facts. This is part of education. And these people who say that I'm wrong and that I'm so stupid or whatever, like, then how come you're not willing to educate me? Why is it I'm the guy? I'm the only one that none of these science YouTube creators, astrophysicists, cosmologists, yeah, how come I'm the only guy that you all avoid? That you don't want to educate me? I'm not worth educating? It seems like you might end up being the one that gets educated and getting educated in front of your entire audience. Ooh, you see? And I think that you can tell the quality of someone's beliefs by the strength of their conviction. And by that, I mean I'm willing to go on anyone's channel anytime and debate anyone on this topic. I don't care if you're famous, not famous, if you have 40 subscribers, if you have 5 million. I will debate you anytime because I stand on my assertions. I am 10 toes down. I'm willing to be made a fool of. Let's say we go on some podcast and they say, "Well, this guy's going to school you." I'm okay with that because if they do, then I have learned something. Right? It won't be because I'm wrong. I already know the facts, but I will learn how to uh, articulate the facts in a better way, in a more accurate way, in a more fair way. Right? I'm willing to be made a fool of, but it seems like nobody's in a hurry to try to accomplish that little task. I'm the most avoided man on this topic on the planet, and if you read my book, do I have one? Do I even have it? I have a copy of my own book. Look at me. Look at this. Cosmic Blind Spot. Why Neil deGrasse Tyson is wrong about UFOs on Amazon. You read this book, you have been given a crash course in how to shut down any UFO or alien denier. This book is your manual. It is the art of war for this fight that we are engaged in. And I encourage you to read it. I don't rely on my books for a living or anything. I don't make hardly anything off of them. Uh, I've written these things for you because I want to see people armed with information. I don't have enough followers. I don't have enough subscribers. I don't have a large enough platform. These guys all avoid me like the plague because I talk real. So I have to do something. And I don't want to be like Phil Schneider and there's no information. It dies with me. No, no, no. See, now, no matter what happens to me, the information is out there and you can always get it. You see, that's the point of that. Um, and as long as it's not passed off as real, be unhealthy, spread it. Oh, unhealthy is spread it through fictional stories with real survival methods. No, I love this. I think about this as the vampire technique. Yeah. Like, for instance, vampires, they're fictional, they're not real. But uh, don't we all know how to kill a vampire? Because it's been in the media, it's been in modern, pop culture forever. And so they have put in all of these little things. So even if we don't believe in vampires, if we ever met one, we would know exactly what to do, wouldn't we? I'm okay with sneaking that stuff in any way that you can get the information, whether it's lore or, uh, comedy. If people are laughing, fine. I don't care about the method of delivery, but delivery. That's what I care about. Uh, and I think it could be a very good technique, very positive psychologically. But also, I kind of shake my head though, because I'm like, guys, can we not grow up as a species? Are we forever limited to be this dim, dull, negative, slow species that is just so slow to adapt, so slow to catch on? It's kind of sad. It's tragic that people need to be comforted. They need to be held. Like, guys, you're hearing about it. Okay. I had to live it. Nobody was giving me teddy bears or warm hugs. Okay. I had to man up, gut up, and deal with reality. I had to counsel myself on my ontological shock. I had to self medicate. I had to self soothe. I had to find my own way. And that is by through experiencing it repeatedly throughout my lifetime. You guys can't just handle hearing about it. Like, that's really fragile, guys. And if we're this fragile as a species, I don't expect us to last much longer. We are going to have to really psychologically buckle up. We're going to have to, uh, you know, put on our big girl panties and fucking get to work, because there is a lot to do on this topic. It is wide open. We have so many gaps in what we need to be doing, and the information that needs to be out there. Practical stuff, not spooky, not trying to be scary, just practical stuff. And if you look at my videos, I have the kind of like the mock field guide that I just made up based on my experience and some things I've read from other manuals. And it's to educate the public. I'm not trying to scare anybody, but also stop being scared. Like, it doesn't change anything. We stop being afraid when we start arming ourselves with information, with knowledge. You see, I'm not nearly as afraid now as I used to be, because now I have experience and I have information. And arming yourself with information lessens fear, keeping you ignorant, keeping you in the dark, keeping you on their side, denying what I and thousands and millions of other people know as reality. It will not shield you from it. It will not. In fact, it makes you more vulnerable, because when I see something in the sky that doesn't look right, I have an educated eye and I can go, oh, I think I'm going to go this way. And I'm going to turn before they even know I exist. People get abducted from the highway. People get abducted from the woods. People get abducted from their homes in the middle of the night. People get abducted everywhere. So I don't want that to happen to you. And I can't, um, I can't force it on you or anything like that. But I can offer it to you. And if you can, hey, Paul, there you are, buddy. Hey, man, nice to see you. Glad you made it. Um, and Scott's Dimension, I really appreciated your comment earlier today on my post. Thank you very much for that. It's nice to see some of the old faces again. Really enjoying that. Uh, have you seen any of Nathaniel Gillis's interviews? I don't know. Um, debate to debate to see. You and Nathaniel Gillis would be an interesting interview debate to see. If he's a skeptic, but he's polite, he's reasonable. I'll speak to him. Uh, I'd be more than happy to have this conversation with someone who is mature enough to handle it. It seems like, I act out and I make like memes and I'm really like kind of poking at everybody. But when it comes to having the conversation itself, that nonsense drops. We are going to talk straight facts, no embellishment, no exaggeration, no artificial ingredients, no added filler, just what I know. But just what I know needs no embellishment. It needs no garnish for that plate. It stands on its own. And what I hope is that you guys keep coming back, that you pass along this information. Um, I know today by necessity things are passed along through people's name. So yeah, if it means you have to, thank you, Paul. Appreciate that. Uh, you guys are all beautiful to me. You never change. You're always beautiful. Um, but if you pass my name around, start making me, a problem for people. I know some of you already have, and I want to say thank you so much for that. Mentioning my name to some of these other big wigs, I hope it takes them down a little bit. That yeah, you're a big famous celebrity. This guy can kick your ass in a debate. Like you don't want none of this guy. I love that, man. Thank you so much. Because it's not about me. Okay, I don't know how many times I have to say it's not about me. I don't have main character syndrome or whatever. And if I have main character syndrome, you have uh, UFO derangement syndrome. Then how about that? You know. But if someone wants to have an intelligent conversation where they don't have skin in the game, where they say, if you make a good point, I can concede the point. If I make a good point, then you concede the point. Yes, we can have a fair conversation, not these gaslighty debates. Um, because even if I debated Neil deGrasse Tyson, do you know that half of my time would be spent just knocking down all of the gaslighting and all of the bad faith debate tactics that people use, a straw man, a red herring, a this or that. You know, I would spend most of my time knocking those things down, and we would never actually get to the issue because that's what he doesn't want. He doesn't want to get to the issue because I will just checkmate him immediately. So he's got to put up everything he can in front of me for me to have to just sit there and knock it all down. And then by the time I get to, I'm about to place a piece. I'm sorry, we're out of time. That's the strategy. That doesn't sound like someone who's really well versed in what they're talking about. It doesn't sound like someone who's worthy of the accolades that they've been given or the fame that they enjoy. It sounds like that kind of person is a slimy kind of snake kind of person. And listen, I'm not here to cast aspersions, but all I'm saying is that Neil deGrasse Tyson was like super excited and bragging that he was in Ice Age 3 and they made him a weasel. That wasn't me, guys. That was him. Okay? They made him a weasel. I say, you know, good good call. Good call on that. Uh, UAP tracker here. Hey, what's up, man? I'm not a tracker. I'm a magnet. They just show up like a curse, like a rash. Unfortunately, um, and I'm out here trying to give people good, honest, sincere information, and I really appreciate hanging out with you guys for a little while tonight. I'm starting to get tired, but I have enjoyed your company. I've enjoyed your comments, your questions. Felt real positive vibes tonight. It's just a good vibe, and I wanted to partake in that. I feel as though I should be more participatory with my subscribers, and just people in general on here. That we have to be friends. I'm not some. I'm not a celebrity. I hate attention, but it is necessary. And I think there's a way to do that in a right way, in a legitimate way, in a sincere way, without trying to come off like I'm trying to be something I'm not. Um, I'm odd. I'm unusual, eccentric, maybe. but um, honest, painfully honest. And I hope that that shines through and that people know that when I tell them something, you can take it to the bank. It's good. I don't tell people nonsense. I don't need to do this. I do just fine. I don't need this. I do it because I'm one of the only people who really can. You know, how many people are have been abducted multiple times and then also have the physics and scientific background to be able to challenge science on their denial of it. I have both ends covered there, and that's what they're not prepared for. They're not prepared for someone who is scientifically literate. They want to mow over people and shut them down, shut them up. Again, like I was saying, like the Epstein victim, nobody wants to talk, nobody wants to interview them. They don't want them to go on the record, right? Because then that might change something. They don't want Bob Lazar to go on the record. That might move the needle. All right. They just want to keep pushing us back and pretending that we don't exist. Uh, what's it? Paul said, I'm still working on an intro song for you. Oh my God, I forgot that you said that. Yeah, that's a great idea. Very generous of you, by the way. I've checked out some of your music and I like it. You got something going on, man. I dig it. I would be very honored. And whatever you offer me, I'll use it. You know, I really will. And that's good community. It's like I could pay somebody to come up with a jingle, but I just have cool subscribers who are like, I'm writing one for you. You didn't even ask. I'm just going to do it. Like, that's that kind of good energy that I want to cultivate here. Yes, I get snarky. Okay. Yes, it's personal to me because it's happening to me. You see, I just can't imagine how some of these scientists would feel if their loved one came home and said, I was uh, I was abducted and I was assaulted and I'm traumatized. And they said, do you have any proof? What? What? Did you grab like an ashtray or a stereo knob or something and bring it with you? No. Do you have a DNA sample from the guy? Uh, do you have a picture? Do you have a video? Right? Like who says that? Like I'm not claiming that I have ascended to the 39th uh, chamber of Shaolin. I'm reporting an assault, an abduction. I'm reporting something bad that happened to me. And in no universe should people like that be disbelieved, especially when you have millions of us who have said the same thing. How dare you? You know, how dare you challenge that? That should be believed and taken seriously. And so I take it personally. I get upset sometimes. I get offended. I get offended, not just by by the denials, which perpetuates it, but by the mocking, the sneers, the boos. Like, wow, you know, it doesn't bother me the boos because I've seen what these people cheer for, and it's horrifying. So that doesn't. But I think to myself, you know, I have never had the urge of someone who reports something that they claim has been extremely traumatic to them for 1 second ever think, I want to make fun of that. I don't understand that kind of thinking. Um, I just don't relate to it. We don't kick people when they're down, even if you don't believe them. Uh, why add to it? Because on the very small chance that is true, like you're a monster, and the people who have made fun of me and jeered me, mocked me, you know, made all these false accusations against me, they're monsters. I'm sorry, but you're a monster for doing that. How could you be so callous? You think that everyone's a liar, calling me a liar when I'm risking all of it to tell you the truth. The same people who are being monstrous to me are the people I'm trying to reach and save. It's like being a lifeguard and trying to, you know, pull somebody into shore and they keep punching you in the face the entire time you're trying to swim to shore. Like it's like, dude, I'm really tempted to just let you go right now, you know? But we have our character, we have our mission, and like the lifeguard. You can punch me. We're going to settle this when our feet hit the sand. We will settle it then, but I will save you to settle up with. Same thing with these people. Yeah, you can make fun of me all you want. I'm saving you. I'm trying to help you. I'm risking it all to do that. And not only are you not appreciative, but you're not receptive and you're not kind. Ah, man, sometimes it makes me feel like, you know what? What if I just stepped back? What if I just stepped back and said, you know what? No more. I'm going to take my books off the market. I'm going to shut down my channel. I'm not going to talk about the subject anymore. Let these smarty pantses all find out for themselves. And then when they are hurting or bruised or traumatized or are sitting in a corner rocking back and forth for hours over what happened to them, maybe then they'll think about me and how they treated me and how they want to be believed. They want to be taken seriously. They want some action taken, right? Maybe then, because maybe that's just the only way that some people uh, learn, you know? And as I'm fond of saying, um, some men, some people, let me straighten that up. Some people can't be bought, bullied, or reasoned with. Some people just want to watch the world learn. Now, I'd really love for the world to learn by allowing people like me to teach them. But some people don't learn by being taught, they only learn the hard way. This is a very, very difficult lesson to learn the hard way, respectfully. And if I could help people avoid this experience, I definitely want to do that. I actually want to help people avoid it more than like I need compensation or recognition or any of that. I'm just like, look, if this happens, do this. If that happens, do that. I feel very compelled to use my traumatic experiences and turn this plowshare into a sword and use it to cut through the enormous mountain of bullshit that people are being fed because they muddy the water so much that nobody knows who to believe. And that's a very understandable emotion. Um, because there are liars in science, there are liars in the UFO community, there are gatekeepers in science and in the government and in the civilian UFO community. We are a very tiny percentage surrounded by grifters, liars, charlatans, and outright liars, just outright liars and gaslighters. People who know that their argument isn't good. It's only good for 85% of the people. The last 15% who are smart enough, we just dodge, duck, dip, dive, and dodge around them and keep the money machine rolling. You know? Oh, well, Professor Dave really cares about science. Not really. He cares about clicks. You notice there's no merch on my site. There's no links for merch on my site. I don't want anybody wearing my name on their chest or my channel, title or anything like that. Uh, that's not why I'm here. I'm here for the science. I'm here for the right reasons. I wrote books, but that's the only way to get the information to you because, this whole going door to door thing gets old after about a week. You don't reach as many people. So I have to do things in a way that reaches mass people and in the shortest amount of time possible. So I use these facilities, but none of them are for me. Yeah, I used to have a Patreon. I don't even do it anymore. I'm like, you know what? Keep your $3, man. Like, I'm good. I'm good, man. I don't have a Substack. I don't have a merch store. I don't have any of these things. Those are the telltale signs of people. Like, look at Simon Dan. He's got a book club and merch and this and that. He'll sell you like fake titles from England and shitty cereal and this guy will shill anything because that's what the channel is for. The channel isn't for the science; it's for the commercial. You see, he needs a video to shove a sponsor at you. The video is second thought, right? That isn't what you get here. I tell you real stuff, and the real ones believe me. Um, the people who are too afraid, too intellectually diminished, uh, these are the people who want to reject and violently reject the truth. And I say, fine. But when a UFO crashes into a middle school on a Thursday afternoon in a well populated city, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to wish you were educated. You're going to wish you had believed some of us and listened to us. But who to listen to and who not to listen to? I've had people ask me this. Well, who do I listen to? Well, listen to me, of course. No, but listen to people who aren't in it for money. Listen to people who don't have merch. Listen to people who aren't trying to sell you a book club or fake titles or shitty cereal. The people who are here for the message. Check the consistency of their message. Whenever you hear me talk about one of my experiences, if you've heard it once, you've heard it. Because if I tell the experience, I tell it the exact same way over and over because it's the only way I know, because I'm remembering it from my experiences and I'm just repeating the memory as I relive it. There's no exaggeration, there's no adding, there's no gilding the lily. I just tell you the straight up truth. And you know, that that may get a bit maybe redundant, maybe boring, you know. I felt that sneeze coming from a mile away. But, it's maybe it's not that entertaining, but no offense, but I'm not here to fucking entertain you. I'm here to inform you. People say, well, I want you to convince me. Hey, whoa, 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 buddy. Whoa, whoa. You at the wrong store because I'm not here to convince you. I'm here to inform you. I'm not trying to convince anybody of anything. It's true, whether you want to believe it or not. Now, if you would like to learn about it, I am happy to share what I know with anyone who wants to know it. But convince you, go away. Go away. Because I don't deal with those kinds of things. That's not my job. My job is not to convince you of reality. It's your job to discover it on your own. Now, if you wish to learn more about the reality you discover, then I'm happy to help, as at least as far as I can. Another way to know who to listen to: people who can say "I don't know" when they don't know. If you ask Neil deGrasse Tyson a question, you're going to get an answer, right or wrong. You're going to get an answer because the three words that Neil deGrasse Tyson cannot say out loud are "I don't know." And any good scientist, any good honest person like me, I bet I was a doctor for 40 years. People ask me questions, and I'm like, dude, I have no idea. That's a good question, but I don't know. And it doesn't diminish me to say that. I don't feel less than because I can't satisfy everyone's curiosities. I tell what I know. At least when I tell you what I know, you can count on that because if I don't know, I will say I don't know. So I hope my truth holds more weight because I'm willing to just admit I don't have the answer to that question. I would like it to, but I don't. Um, so these are some tips. I hope it helps. Um, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start moseying. Uh, I don't know, a couple drinks. I might sachet. Who knows? But I'm going to start hitting the trail. I really appreciate you guys. I'm here just soaking in the vibe. I really like it, and I hope you're enjoying it too. Not a I wanted to talk about some more things. I think I'm going to save it for the next live. I wanted to talk about the GATE program that has recently come up. That I have a lot of things to talk about on that. Um, it's a GATE, gifted and talented education. This was something that was very popular during the 70s and 80s, I think even into the 90s. And I'd like to talk about that more because there is a lot to talk about. Um, But again, we'll save that for another day. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for joining me here. Please drop me a like if you enjoy, what I'm saying, and if you'd like to see more of these, I'd be happy to do it. And I won't be too long. I'm trying to do these regularly now, so that way you guys have a point of contact that you feel like I'm keeping in touch with you. All right, about things. And so I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you again so much for being here, and I will see you as soon as I can. And we'll always have something new to talk about. I promise. Bye.